Greetings, 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 royal family. Now, welcome back to season 2, episode 2 of the great value version of Girlfriends, aka Tyler Perry's Sistas. Thanks for clicking on the video. Be sure to hit the like button. Also, drop your comments throughout the commentary. All right, so this episode opens up with Andy. Mind you, all of this is her fault. I don't feel any sympathy for Andy whatsoever. So the episode opens up with Andy. So she is, struggling to get her way into her apartment. She's like fighting, like, let me in my apartment. They're taking my stuff. Now remember, her apartment was overtaken by the feds. So they're taking out all of her things in boxes and she is having a fit, right? Now Karen, she walks up and she's trying to calm Andy down and she's trying to find out what is going on because she doesn't know what's happening at all. Right? Danny, she shows up and she has no clue what's happening either. All she's concerned about is getting gas money and telling bad jokes. I see there was no, progression as it pertains to Danny's character. But okay, it is what it is. So they both, escort Andy away from her apartment door into the hallway. And then they realize, that they have to get Andy out of there. Danny, she's just continuing to tell more corny, bad, inappropriate timed jokes just to fill the scene, I guess. So we move on to Andy's job or former job, whatever it is, right? And the FBI man and his crew show up to the firm where Andy works, used to work, is working, who knows at this point. And Andy's assistant, Fatima, she goes in the back. She kind of stops them and says, I have to let my boss know what's going on. She goes in the back to contact whatever Andy's boss name was. And I forgot what he said. Who cares? He was on speakerphone. And then we see Fatima. It looks like that she was like looking through some papers and kind of like trying to clean up some mess or something like that. Now the FBI man, he's like, look, I'm not waiting around for your boss. Fatima, she goes back out in the front. FBI man says, look, I'm not waiting for your boss. I'm going in the back there. So Fatima didn't fight them. She let them go. So I guess whatever it is that she was trying to like clean up or take up or hide, she hid because she didn't give them a fight when they said, look, we're going in the back. So I thought that was kind of odd. Did they have a warrant to be there? I don't even remember. Anyway, shifting gears to Karen and Andy. So they're driving in the car. They're headed to Sabrina's house because Andy doesn't want to go to Danny's house. And Andy can't go to her apartment because it's being seized by the feds at the moment, right? So she tells Karen exactly what Gary did. She talks about him money laundering, all this stuff that he's accused of. And Andy, she can't even call her lawyer because remember, she doesn't have her phone. She doesn't have a car, phone, nothing. So all of that stuff was seized by the feds when she was out in the woods. With Crazy Gary. So again, Andy, she wants to meet up at Sabrina's apartment instead of Danny's. So that's where they're all headed. Now we shift gears to see Sabrina at work. Sabrina is the bank manager, right? Her boss asked her about a wire transfer that she made. Now her boss is grilling her and she is on her neck. Her boss says that she didn't follow protocol and tells her, look, get your keys, get your purse, and go home. And I'll call you. And Sabrina is like, wait a minute, are you firing me? In disbelief. First of all, you lucky that you're not getting locked up. You know exactly what you did. You didn't follow protocol. You did a quote unquote favor for a friend. That friend is Andy, who, just really asked Sabrina, took advantage of Sabrina's kindness and asked Sabrina to make this transfer without even really giving her much of an explanation. So she set Sabrina up. Sabrina, you were stupid enough to risk your job to not ask questions and break protocol and transfer that large amount of money into Andy's account. That was dumb. And then you sitting there talking to your boss saying, wait a minute, are you firing me? Girl, get your keys, get your purse, and go. So now Sabrina, she's in jeopardy of being questioned by the feds, all because, again, she tried to help Andy. And I knew this was going to come back to bite her simple behind in the behind. So we shift gears to Sabrina's house, right? They have the key. They all have the key to each other's houses. So whatever. Sabrina's not at home yet, but Sabrina lets them know, that she got sent home. Well, she showed up. They were all there. She shows up. She's all bummed out, and she let them know that she got sent home for wiring money. And then Andy tells them about Gary's arrest. Now, I still do not feel sorry for Andy at this point in the episode. Okay, I didn't feel sorry for her in season 1. And so far in season 2, I still don't feel sorry for her. And I can't stand the fact that she put Sabrina in jeopardy, number 1. And they are all treating Andy like she had nothing to do with getting involved with Gary, who she knew was married. They're all rallying around her and they're pacifying Andy as, she's the poor little victim. No, stupid. This is all your fault. You did this. You created this mess. Anyway, then at this point, this is when they realized that Karen had a substance on her pants. It's blood, right? So Karen didn't even get the opportunity to clean up herself after that incident happened at her apartment when, Zach got poked up, when Fawn is a lady who offed herself in Karen's salon. Well, Fawn's brother, because Fawn's crazy mama, seems to believe that Fawn offing herself in Karen's salon is Karen's fault because the guy, Aaron, was still married to Karen at the time. I mean, married to Fawn at the time. You guys seen it. So anyway, Fawn's brother showed up. I called him Michael Myers last season. He showed up and he was going to, do harm to Karen. And Zach just so happened to walk in and Zach got poked up trying to save Karen. So Karen still has the blood on her pants. It's like, girl, really? You couldn't change your pants? You're really walking around town with this all over? Like, that to me just seems so unrealistic. Like, you done went from the hospital with Zach, bringing him home. Then you go over to Andy house where the feds is at. You really got blood all over your pants? You just rubbing around town with blood on your pants, huh? Come on, Tyler. Tighten it up. Anyway, back to the law firm. So Andy, she ends up calling the law firm, right? And she speaks with Fatima, who tells her, look, FBI man showed up at the office. And Fatima said, look, that she took up all her letters that she wrote to Gary and she cleared her hard drive. And Andy is still being rude to Fatima. Andy been rude to Fatima since last season. And I don't like the way she talks to Fatima at all. I don't like Andy. Let's just put it that I don't like Andy at all. She is getting away with a lot and she's being pacified a lot and I'm not feeling it. Fatima has really bent over backwards on several occasions to help Andy. And Andy talks to her like she's trash. I really don't like it. Oh, I want to be like you. You're the only black woman. You're a strong black woman in this firm. Everything is about praising Andy. We see you, Tyler. Anyway, no need to point out the obvious. So we shift gears to Zach. Now, he finally made it into Karen's apartment, and he's cleaning up his own blood. So, here's the thing. The police officers were at Karen's apartment. I'm assuming forensics was there. So, in cases like that, the owner of the property has to clean up all of that stuff? Like, I'm just asking. I don't watch Law and Order, but how does that go? But whatever. Aaron walks in, he's looking for Karen, and Zach tells Aaron that he is the reason all of this is happening. Okay, I can't disagree wholeheartedly with Zach about that. Zach, he asked Aaron a great question, in my opinion. He asked him, how is it that he didn't know that Karen wasn't home? And like, he always has this habit of just popping up. Like, don't you call before you come by? So they end up having some long, drawn-out scene of back-and-forth dialogue. Zach was trying to be funny, and it wasn't funny. They were repeating the same things over and over again. That is like signature Tyler Perry shows. And Karen ends up calling Zach and asks him to bring her some clothes. Because I guess now she realized, hey, maybe I should change out of these bloody pants. Yo, I can't. This is a comedy, right? A drama comedy show. Anyway, so Zach, he comes up with the bright idea like, hey, both of us should go and bring Karen a change of clothes. Plus, Zach does not have a car. So meanwhile, back at the firm that Andy still used to work at, we don't know, Fatima is trying to get Andy help with her situation. So we see Fatima enter the office of one of the lawyers that works there, black guy. So she approaches one of the lawyers at the firm, but He says, yeah, you know what? I don't want to touch this case at all. This is too hot for me. I'm good. So Fatima gets dude to basically help by threatening to call his mama. I can't, because I guess his mama and her mama go to the same church. I'm done. Plus, I think he probably liked her. So I'm pretty sure he'll be wrapped up in all of this foolishness. We shall see. Now, like I said, Fatima, she's really been going hard for Andy since last season. And just the way she talks to her. If anybody is going to betray Andy, it could be Fatima. And she would be well within her right to do so. Just nail her to the cross, because I'm not feeling that dynamic there. And it doesn't go unnoticed. Anyway, back at Sabrina's place. So the girls, they're drinking, and Calvin comes up. You know, Calvin is the one. He's Calvin, okay? And he's the one whose one of his fathers just recently passed away, and this is who Sabrina is dating. So he, Lord have mercy. So who was smelling the couch? I think it was Danny was smelling the couch. Like, what's that smell? And this is when it was revealed by Sabrina that, you know, Calvin wears women's perfume. Sabrina says that she doesn't care about all of that anymore, and that she is not going to judge him. Sabrina reveals that, you know, Calvin told her that he loves her. That was in episode 1. Now, I think that Sabrina may be confusing I love you and I'm in love with you. But I guess we will see. I guess we will see. Because the way that Calvin said it, he was like, I love you. And then he just walked off into the kitchen. I think that he loves her, I'm sure. But is he in love with her? We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. So Andy, she then reveals that she has evidence that Morris, her boss, the white guy, I can't remember his name, and Jasmine were all trying to set up Gary. Remember, the PI lady did give Andy a folder with info, right? And she still didn't take heed to the PI lady. She still didn't take heed. So what difference does it make if you have evidence or not? You're still an idiot. Now you're trying to defend Crazy Gary. But Crazy Gary may be innocent. We don't know. That'll be a plot twist. Anyway, so Andy, she calls Fatima and she says, look, I need you to get Leslie, that's the PI lady, get a hold of the PI lady, you know, and see if she can get a copy of those files that she gave me. Because remember, Andy, everything is being seized at Andy's place. So who knows? The FBI man may have already gotten his hands on that folder. I don't know. Something about that FBI man don't seem right. And shout out to the viewer. I'm bad with names. I'm sorry. Shout out to the viewer who confirmed that the FBI man is not the man from Tyler Perry's I Can Do Bad All By Myself. Greatly appreciated. All right. Now, I think that Andy is really, her wheels are starting to churn. She's really thinking about trying to save Gary, because when Danny asked Andy why she was in Alabama, you know, the way that she explained how Gary wanted to move out there, you know, she looked like she was really buying into the dream. Like, she's like, you know, he wanted us to move out there and start a family. And then I think that's when she mentioned Jasmine, the wife client, Gary's wife, said that he would do that. But I think she's really still holding on to the thought of them being together. And I think that season 2 is probably going to consist of Andy fighting to prove Gary's innocence. You heard it here first. Then Gary has the audacity to call Karen's phone. And he wants to speak to Andy. Now, mind you, he is locked up like Akon, and he calls Karen's phone collect. I guess. I don't know. Maybe he didn't. Who knows? But he was in jail. So he wants to speak to Andy. And Gary, he's basically pleading with Karen that he is innocent. Then, of course, in true buffoonery fashion, you know, Danny, she takes the phone and she starts cussing Gary out. And then they all make fools of themselves, like trying to get the phone from Danny, who's acting a pure tea fool. They're like on the ground in front of the couch, like fake acting. It was just bad. It was bad. Andy, she tried to get the phone from Karen to talk to Gary. And I'm like, you still want to talk to him? Because Gary was trying to get Andy to speak to his lawyer. Nah, the last time Andy spoke to your financial advisor to wire money, this is why the feds came and raining down. Okay? I don't know. I kind of like the suspense of not knowing if Gary is guilty or innocent. You know, I have to be honest, that I'm enjoying. And that's the only storyline that I'm really interested in. I've been saying that since season 1. So again, Andy, she's trying to get the phone from Karen to talk to Gary. Gary's like, Andy, I know that you're there. I know that you're there. So Karen ends up hanging up the phone, right? Danny, she eventually is getting ready to leave because I guess she doesn't want no parts of the drama, the foolishness, whatever. For whatever reason, she's heading out, and she opens the door to see who's standing there. Zach and Aaron, they're standing at the door, and that's where the episode ends, and I was so grateful that it ended. So this concludes my recap and a little bit of my commentary for season 2, episode 2 of the Great Value Versions of Girlfriends, aka Tyler Perry's Sisters. If you enjoyed this quick commentary, please drop down in the comments. Let me know how you feel. Share your opinion on the show. Are you watching? Do you care? Are you just going to watch the reviews? Either way, I'll appreciate your feedback. Keep all comments respectful as usual. Hit the like button if also you enjoyed the quick commentary. And if you haven't done so, hit the subscribe button. We definitely love for you to join us here for our weekly discussions and recaps and reviews and hot topics and all that good stuff. And make sure you click the notification bell and select all. This way you won't miss out on any of my uploads. I'm actually looking forward to episode 3 because this is fun. This is fun to review. I don't take this show too seriously. And I kind of want to see what's going to happen with Crazy Gary. I don't know. A part of me is rooting for him. But we'll see how this all plays out. All right, Royal Family, I'm signing off. Thank you for listening and watching. And as always, until next time, folks, peace.